Hey, hello, hello. My name is Adrian Kiwis, and hello, my name is Adrian Kiwis, and this is the new normal way of life. The world is ever changing, the world is ever evolving, growing, learning, and over these past 6, 7 months, it has drastically changed, and we are now living in a new normal way of life. And especially these past 2, 3, 4 weeks, we've experienced a lot as a state of California, a nation of the U.S., and as the world. This channel, the new normal way of life, deals with just how we can live in the world now that has changed drastically before. Uh, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the coronavirus and the pandemic and how you can live and work during these times. And, this last week, and even this week, we've seen an effect of, Black Lives Matter and the protests and George Floyd and police brutalities and many other things that have all contributed to this uprising, this protest, this change and of Black Lives Matter. And from all this, things are going to change. Things are going to evolve. And so today, what we're going to talk about is how you can help out. I said previously in the past episodes where, if you don't know what to do, listen, read, learn, educate yourself. All these things are very important. And, then it's act. How can you help out? What can you do? We're still in a pandemic, and it's your right to social distance, stay home, wear a mask and do your thing. And I know a lot of people are strapped for money and other resource and everything, but there are other ways that you can help Black Lives Matter and help this cause and, take action, which is very important. That's most important, is taking action so that change can happen. Um, and previous episode, I talked about how you can sign petitions. There's petitions out there that need signatures and that need your help, and then need people's voicing their opinion. That are also supporting. They need people all over the world, supporting this cause because it's very important. There's a lot up against it, but we can defeat this injustice and police brutality and many other things that are also involved in this Black Lives Matter. But this episode is talking about what else can you do. And the most important thing is, I think people don't realize that this change is not something that's happening just right now, but this is something that's been building up over and over years, to this point. And we got to think about the future. To think about the future, for everybody, especially the African American community. And one thing that I think everyone needs to do is talking to the youth, talking to your kids, talking to younger people. If not you, somebody who can educate, the youth, because that's where we're going to see the biggest difference in this change. Is talking to the kids, talking to them and educating them on just equality and some of the injustice that is happening in this world. And that's very important. And, to get a lot of this, hatred, and just evil that's been building up out of this world, is just talking to our youth, talking to people, either your siblings, and just educating them so that they can have the mindset of, going forward and building upon that. A lot of, people don't talk about, or not too much talk about, is a lot of these police officers, they're doing this injustice and these murders right now, but they're not. But that's something that's been building up from their childhood. Little seeds and their perspective has been put into their heads, and that's grown to how they react. And that's where a lot of this is coming from. Where this, how they treat the African American community is just from building up through their childhood and where they came from. That's something that also has to be looked about. For a lot of the police department, just like making sure that a lot of these officers came from right families, right childhood, so that they can make the right decisions. And it's not about all these acts that are happening. But below, I'm putting down a link below on just ways that how you can different websites that you can read upon and talk to your kids, or educating the youth or your students. All of these, it's just about educating a lot of people that are younger, because at this age, they're trying to soak it all in. And right now a lot of them are just not sure what's going on. So a lot of these articles are great. It's from the prettygooddesign.org, and it talks about in different ways how parents can talk to parents, or caregivers can talk to their kids or their young ones, or kids that are in their household, but also teachers and educators, in how they can talk about race and ethnicity, because I think that's very important. I think the more that we can talk to our youth, whether it's even through YouTube videos or through podcasts, or just one-on-one talking, and having these discussions at early on, that will make a greater change in the future, because this change is going to still ever growing and still evolving. But we want that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, kids that are 10 years old right now, talking to them and educating them right now, 10 years, they will be making a bigger difference, and that's where it'll be most valuable, from that point on, educating everybody on now and getting everybody on the same page now, so that years from now, we can see this change in society and the world, and this more of a peace and loving world. So a lot of these, check it out. There are different ways that you can, educate the kids, your students. There's lots of books down there that you can read to your kids, and just different ways that you can have that discussion with the youth. Guys, my name is Adrian Kiwis. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe,